why you later. I can sit around and wait up. I'm gonna have to see you later. Giving tips like a waiter, either tell them or you fade them. I'm in my element, back in my element. 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 I'm in my element, don't care about relevance. I'm doing me.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage, joined by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today on this beautiful Tuesday. As always, let's try to follow distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. And as always, let's make sure we turn off all distractions, grab pen and paper, let's take I said that already. We want to make sure we take massive action. And that action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, sending yourself body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition, imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So, if everybody can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat, please. Had some technical difficulties this morning. So we're figuring it out. Also, if you can see my screen, drop me a 2. All right, cool. Got an interesting little setup here this morning. Updates to Zoom. So got a new look and new feel. So appreciate it. All right. So we will hop over, take a look at some fundamental things. And then we'll dive into the charts, see what's happening around the globe. Do I still have that up? Let's go. I want to show you guys this article real quick before we hop into trading economics. Ba, 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 ba. All right, so we're gonna look here first. Let's share this one. All right. Japan likely spent 13.5 billion in intervention on Friday. So the belief is after last week's Thursday's intervention, Japan came back on Friday and spent another $13.5 billion. So 22 billion and 13.5 billion, keeping traders on their toes. So what we saw last week, we're starting to get some hints that it was accurate, and they did follow up on Friday. Not as large and not as much of a reaction, right? This area right here, but pushed back down to that support level. And then we got the consolidation. So we did highly likely that we did get yen intervention 2 times back to back. Something relatively new that the Bank of Japan has done, and it sounds like that they're not opposed to doing it again in the future. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. We are seeing those yens turn around and start to retrace a little bit. So, but we getting some hints that a second intervention did occur on Thursday, keeping the yen volatile and on the lower side of things. So that's where we are from Japan. Coming over to trading economics now. Boom. German investor morale worsens. A ZW indicator Economic sentiment for Germany declined to 41.8 in July for the first fall in a year and the lowest level in 4 months compared to a forecast of 42.5. Economic outlook is worsening amid falling exports, political uncertainty in France, and the lack of clarity regarding future monetary policy by the ECB. Right. So investors are looking for some forward guidance so they can better understand what is happening and where things are going. All right. So that is that. Brent crude slides for the third session. It's 84 and a half per barrel on Tuesday, as demand uncertainties in top consumer China and a rising dollar. All right. So got some back and forth there. Dollar pushing back to the upside. Um, Investors waiting outcome of the third plenum amid hopes the Chinese authorities will introduce new stimulus measures to boost the economy. Oil prices also came under pressure from a firmer dollar as a failed assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump raised his chances of winning the election in November. Meanwhile, Federal Reserve Jerome Powell expressed confidence about inflation and said the central bank won't wait until inflation hits 2% before cutting rates. The prospect of lower U.S. interest rates bolsters the outlook for global growth and energy demand. All right. So that's where we are with oil. And over to the calendar. Today, we have CPI for the Canadian dollar. All right. So we'll look forward to that and see where that comes out at. Could potentially see continued weakness in the Canadian dollar there. Then we got core retail sales and retail sales for the United States at the same time. So we'll see what happens there. And then tonight we got CPI quarter over quarter for the New Zealand dollar. This will be big, seeing as um, the RBNZ is leaning more towards a rate cut sooner rather than later. So this number would be interesting to see how it comes out tonight at 6:45. All right. So that's it for fundamentals for the most part. All right. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you? Good morning,
I'm doing
everybody.
well, man. How about you? What you got top of mind, man? Anything fundamentally or
Oh man, just CPI today for Canada. Um CPI today for Canada, and then we've got retail sales for the United States here coming up.
yeah.
Yep. So that's the main thing. Is focusing on that. What's gonna happen with these Canadian pairs because they're due, right? The chances of an increase for another rate cut coming up. So we see a weaker CPI today. Be expecting that rate cut to come through for Canada. And then, of course, just continue to follow the important data for the U.S., which retail sales falls in that category in regards to, hey, are we going to see a rate cut come September? This report, will help the Fed to determine that, right? As chances are increasing now of a rate cut for the U.S. So important reports coming out today.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cool deal. Appreciate you, bro. Team, you guys got anything top of mind? Any questions from a fundamental perspective? Anything that you saw that you want to bring to the table? Nope. All right. Cool deal. Let's hop over, take a look at some things. The dollar, right? Turning over a bit, trying to push back to the upside here after move back down last week. And we'll see how things go at retail sales today. If we get another push to the downside, get us to that 103.56, or if it continues to move us back to the upside here, right? We got the data coming out supporting rate cuts. We got Fed saying that they're getting confidence from the data that's coming out that we're moving in the direction of 2% target. Other comments from Jerome Powell. He said that they won't point toward a specific time for cuts, but they are, the recent data has given them some additional confidence that inflation is moving in the right direction. So obviously the market takes those sentiments and they run with them most times. So we'll continue to watch things there and see how they move, right? But that's the dollar turnover pushing back to the upside just a bit. And we'll see if we get a continued move there, at least coming back to retest 104.72. We'll see how things move there. All right. Down on the 4, this is what that move looks like. Still inside that AB boundary there. And then we're moving back to the upside there. Okay. So that's the DXY. We'll take a look at this dollar yen just to see how things are moving. We got a push. We weren't able to really firmly close below this 157.742 level, right? After that intervention, this is that second move down, right, on Friday. And then we just started to consolidate. And now we're getting a push back to the upside, right? Got a nice push back above this resistance level here. So on the 1 hour, right? We're coming back, retesting that level now. So we could see another push to the upside, at least getting us back to 160, 228, but we could see it continue to move even further. All right. So that's on the 1 hour. We'll walk back to the 4. And there we are on the 4, right? Inside that AB boundary on the 4 hour 786 86 retracement, right? Testing that trend line, and then we're bouncing off, right? So if we continue to hold that trend line, see if we get another move back to the upside, at least getting us back to retest these highs here, 161, 160, close to 162, right? But moving back north there, okay? And then on the daily, that's where we are. Still in that 118, 127 zone, right? But do we come back, give us another high before the end of the month? And then we'll see what the Bank of Japan decides to do. Okay. So on the daily, we still have this 80-20 scenario here. All right. Taking its time developing, and we'll see how it continues to evolve. Okay. So that's where we are on the dollar yen, retracing back to the upside. We'll see how far it goes. Questions on the dollar yen?
No.
All right. Cool deal. Got the dollar CAD. Here on the daily, right? You see we're still trapped in this range here, right? We came down to the bottom of the range, 135, 971, and we're pushing back to the upside, right? Potentially headed back to 137, 587, and we'll see what happens as we move down to the 4. That's where we are on the 4, right? Longer drawn out fib there. If we run a fib just off the shorter term low, that's where we sit there. 618 retracement, bouncing off that level, pushing back to the upside. Trying to break back above the cloud. All right, we got a bullish cloud ahead, got our TK crossover. We'll see if we're able to continue north here. Like I said, at least getting us back to 137, 587. Okay. And then to the 1. Again, a larger fib scenario there. 382 on the retracement, and we're pressing back long. Okay, so not much, but we're pressing back to the upside here. We'll see what happens with the data to see if we get that continued move to the upside there. Okay. Questions on the dollar CAD?
No.
All right, cool deal. All right. Look at the dollar splits. This new Zoom interface is it's kind of tripping me out a little bit. It's a whole new look on the backside. So my apologies for being a little off this morning. Um, here on the daily, 80-20 to the downside, daily support, push back up, and we're pulling back a little bit now. Right. So we'll see if we get this to turn back over and continue moving long. Right. Got a potential crown pattern here as well. We'll look at this on the 4 also. But boom. Right. Um, So looking for this one to continue moving to the upside, especially with the state of the Swiss franc. All right. So see if we get this right tip to fully form and start moving to the upside there. Okay. We come down to the 4. And that was the pullback. Now we'll see if we can take off here, right? We got a 618 retracement, that daily support level. Beautiful move up, pull back. We run a manual fib here on that right side of the crown, just shy of a 618 retracement there. Okay. So potential entry opportunity here on a move long, right? Looking for price to continue moving to the upside. So there's that piece. And then on the 1, sure. Yeah. Similar to the 4, right? That larger fib, but I want to run a fib here. That got taken out. Gotcha. Okay. So not much doing on the smaller waves, but we got a nice pullback here back to that 50% level. We'll see if we get that movement back to the upside there. That's what I'm looking for. Is this going to continue moving long? Okay. So not a ton doing there, but that is the dollar Swiss. Any questions?
No.
Oh, all right. Give me 1 second. But let's take a look at, we're talking about these Aussies last week and the potential retracement. Actually, before we go there, just a quick look at the New Zealand yen, that 80-20 that posted, been talking about since last week, right? 80-20 scenario here, breakdown, move to the downside, right? And we're continuing to press to the downside. We're running into the middle trend line here, 236 retracement level. We'll see if we get another push to the downside and get us into our sweet spot here. But this has been a beautiful move out of the 80-20 zone, right? 302 pips to the downside so far. And still got some movement to go potentially, right? Could see a pullback and then a continuation to the downside. Okay. So that's on the 4 on that New Zealand dollar. We zoom in on the 1. think we had one here as well. No, could be wrong. Yeah, there we go. Right, so that 80-20 there on the 1, press down, took out the A. Right, so on this one, we can flip our fib and look at it from this perspective. Now we can watch the C, right? Price is sitting in the 118 and 127 zone. Just missed that 382. So this could be that opportunity for that retracement back into the zone here, right? So we'll see how these yens move, but this is an opportunity to play this back to the upside. We'll see, especially with the data coming out tonight for that New Zealand dollar. We'll see. We'll see if we get a catalyst to strengthen that New Zealand dollar, at least in the short term. Okay, but that's where we are. Potential 80-20 on a reversal here on the New Zealand yen for a high price to then potentially get back short. Questions on this one? Nope. All right. Cool deal. All right. Cool. Aussie CAD daily sitting at this weekly resistance level 92,315, right? 80-20 scenario on the daily. Canadian data coming out. We got a stochastic in the sell zone and continue pushing to the upside here, 92%. Do we get a catalyst to move this back to the downside? That's what I'm looking to see. Yeah, that's what I'm looking to see there, right? We come down to the 4. We got an 80-20 here as well, right? And you see we broke above that level and now we're pushing back below. So are we able to turn over here and really start to move to the downside? Okay. We don't have a swing high on the daily yet, right? We need another bearish candle to give us a swing high there, right? But price is trying to figure that part out. So moving back down, let me draw trend lines real quick. I think we're sitting at that inner trend line. Yeah, sitting right at that inner trend line, right? So are we able to get a break of the trend line and a move down? This is on the 4, right? Break of the trend line and that continuation to the downside. We'll see that there. But on the 1, right, we're trying to break the cloud, kind of consolidating through the cloud right now. We do have a bearish cloud ahead, and we already got that TK crossover. So I'm watching this one to see if we get some more movement to the downside here, right? If I get a nice bearish candle, that could be that'll be insight needed to play this to the downside, looking for this larger move, 80-20 on the 4, at least get us back to that, what's this, 9404, right? But would love, obviously, to get it to that 89,408 level to finish out that 80-20 play, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Like I said, we're trying to break the cloud here. With this consolidation, I'd like to see a bearish move. So we'll see if we get that at 8:30 this morning. But that's what I'm looking to see. Just a little bit more confirmation of this move down would be lovely. And then we can play this to the downside of that 9404 and potentially beyond. Okay, so I'm tracking this one off the 4 hour in the daily, right? Especially if we get to data close bearish, that'll give us that swing high on the daily, and that would also give us that cloud break on the one, right? Just that additional confirmation for that move to the downside. So that's how I'm watching that one from the higher time frames mostly, but the cloud break on the one as well. Okay, so 80-20 on the 4 and the daily. Questions on the Aussie CAD?
No.
No.
All right. Um, I'm going to have it right down here. Look at this Aussie New Zealand. I'm curious about this one. We broke above the level. A new fib still hasn't popped in yet, but broke above this 110 level, and now we're pulling back. So do we get this pullback and then a continuation to the upside? Okay, we got stochastic in the sell zone here also on the daily time frame. Okay, so we come down to the 4, and you see we're pushing out of this 118, 127 zone now after this shallow retracement, right? Strong bullish action. So this is the retracement that I'm looking for, get us back to some lower prices, and then looking to potentially buy this one, right? With the Australian Reserve Bank of Australia looking at the potential of increasing rates at some point in the future. So on these, I'm ultimately looking for low prices to get back long. We'll see how the data plays out, but so looking for this retracement to come here on this Aussie New Zealand to the downside. So that's the 4, and then down on the 1, you got a similar look. 80-20 scenario here. We missed the D extension, right? And we're turning over. Haven't broken the cloud yet, so we'll watch and see if we're able to get that, and then get that move back down to 110.496. Okay, so that's cool. And we also got that 4 hour 80-20 posted in the community as well, right? On this move here. So check that out. For the details on it, but that setup is here. Boom. All right, that's to your 4 hour 382. Little wider of a stop. If we get that swing high, you can also adjust the stop right above the high if you want to do that as well. Change that risk to reward ratio, but I'm just giving it the traditional stop loss there. Boom. And then see if we get the deeper move like that. I'm extending this TP2 a little bit, right? Just coming back down to the start of this engulfing candle. So that's why I made that a little bit larger than normal. But there's your setup there. Your 80-20 on the Aussie New Zealand to the downside. Okay. Questions on the Aussie NZD? No.
Nope.
All right. Zero. And I'm actually going to take this entry on this one and play this to the downside on the 4. 110.473. All right. Deal. No questions there. Beautiful. Aussie dollar. Dollar news. We got this retracement happening. All right. We talked about it last week. But with the dollar pulling back a bit, right? Daily time frame, we know in the deep retracement scenario, we already got an 8-6 retracement, came back to that 786 level, and now we're pressing back down. So my question is, do we just retest the 67,108 and then bounce higher? Or are we able to break back below that and continue this move down? You got the stochastic pressing out of that sell zone and moving to the downside. Okay. That's there. Then to the 4, right? You got your fresh AB boundary here, price pressing down, pressing against the cloud right now, right? So we'll watch that there. But on the 1, here's where you had your 80-20 scenario here. Shallow retracement 118, 127 zone. See, we're pressed back through the trend line, through the cloud, and we're headed down. All right, so this one's already in motion to the downside. Right? Maybe we get a slight pullback, get us back into that 118, 127 zone, and then continuation down. Right. So we talked about it over the weekend, how these Aussies are kind of setting up for retracements. Okay. So look for this action here, and then we'll see what happens with the dollar and the Aussie and see if we get either a continuation to the downside or just the low price to get back long. Right. But this one is already in motion. If we get a pullback, that might give you an entry opportunity to play that to the downside. But it's down it's low as 50 pips so far. Okay. So that's the 80-20 on the Aussie dollar in play. Questions here? Nope. All right, cool deal. Let's take a look at this EuroCAD. So stochastic in the sell zone. Okay, slide that out. Daily time frame. Longer term, we haven't gotten to a 382 on the pullback yet, right? So we're still in this range, pressing back to the top of this range. We got a daily resistance level that we're sitting at right now, right? We could see if we get price to at least pull back and retest 147,802, but longer term scenario, if there's a catalyst for it, right, to move deeper into the zone, right, back to 141. But that's the daily. Pressing against daily resistance there, coming to the 4. We got deep retracement here on the larger fib, coming off the high, right? Crown pattern, move back long, daily resistance. Do we get price to come back down to the downside? Okay, it's this level. I'm going to take this daily level out. Actually, support there. We'll do that. And then this level can come out. There we go. And this weekly level, no longer. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that update. So that's where we are there on the 4, deep retracement. Deep retracement with the fib coming off the high. Okay. If we run fibs off the low, we got 80-20 scenario here. So I'll pull this one out for a second so you can see this look. All right. We got 80-20 scenario here. Boom. Right. So see if we get a retracement at least coming back to this level, right? Maybe 147, 245, but see if we get a retracement here, and then we'll see what happens fundamentally. Either be the ABC, the extension, or break back below that level and continuation down. Okay. That's the one I want to take out. So we'll see how price moves here. Okay. But 80-20 scenario here on the Euro CAD. Questions. I'll drop down to the 1 hour as well, but that's the move there. Boom. Okay, down on the one, you're just hovering at that B boundary level, right? And see if we get price to move back down to the downside. Okay, questions on the Euro CAD.
Nope.
No question.
All right. One second here. All right, cool deal. Let's look at this CAD yen. Sitting at low prices, right? Came back down. I believe this is a 4 hour level, but previous daily resistance, right? We're testing that level, testing the trend line. See if we get price to turn back over and push back to the upside here, right? Strong bearish engulfing candle, trend line breaks. See if we get a pullback, and then we'll look to see what happens from a pricing perspective and a fundamental perspective if there's a catalyst to turn this back over. But stochastic in the buy zone here, right? Trying to put in a low. So we need today and tomorrow to close bullish, but could we get that move back to the upside, right? That break and retest that we talked about, and then a push back north. We'll come down to the 4, sitting at a 382 on the retracement. Okay, just shy of that 50% level. That's that break and retest scenario, right? So if that's your strategy, you can look to play this back to the upside here. As we've seen with these yens, right after interventions, nothing actually changes. So we're looking for continuations to the upside here potentially. Okay. So we get down to the 1. We did get a 382 here, right? So it's not an 80-20 scenario. However, we could be in for that move back to the upside on these yens. All right. We took out the A there. So we got a nice A taken out. See if we get at least a nice retracement here. And then we'll see what happens as price gets to these higher levels. Okay, so we'll watch this here and see if price moves into our zone here, back to 117 range, and see if we get an opportunity to get back short on this if the fundamentals align with that. So we'll watch that there. Okay, so just wanted to check in on that one. Not in our zone because we already got a 382, but see if we get a nice retracement for a high price. Questions on the CAD yen? Nope.
Nope.
Deal.
I was just going to say the yen pairs are just looking similar in terms of the yen intervention.
Correct. Right, all of them have the same action here, right? The strong press down, then that second press down, that second intervention on Friday, and then you got your consolidation. And so like with all of them, I'm looking for these moves back to the upside to happen. we'll see. Like I said, we'll see if the fundamentals align. But yes, we got all of those, and that's kind of a sign, right? When you see all of them across the board making these types of moves, excuse me, something occurred, right? And a lot of times it is that intervention, especially to that magnitude, especially that first drop. Um, you'll see them retrace, you'll see them pull back, but all of them making the same move at the same time like that, either it's a risk off scenario or an intervention. So yeah. Um, but across the board they were like that. So looking for that retracement to come at some point here on that CAD unit. Yeah. Good observation. All right, so that's the CAD yen, the CAD Swiss. Looking for this one to turn back over at some point. But daily, right? We got 618 retracement, 786 retracement here. Nice press back to the upside, pull back. Okay, so I didn't look at this one already, did I? I don't think so. It was a dollar Swiss, but nice pullback here, retesting previous highs here, right? And looking for this one to continue moving to the upside against the Swissy, right? And know the Canadian dollar is in this situation and potential more rate cuts. Got CPI coming today, but against the Swissy, I'm leaning toward the Canadian dollar from a seasonality perspective with travel and oil. And then with the Swiss National Bank being in the state that they're in multiple rate cuts already, definitely looking to see this one continue moving to the upside here, right? So looking for an opportunity to buy this long, right? And that'll take us back to the highs here, 67,296. Okay. Coming down to the 4, right? We pushed below that double bottom scenario, so that's not valid. So just watching to see here, do we complete this fib and get down to 64,960 before turning around? Or are we able to turn over now and make that move back to the upside? Looking to see. There we go. That's that larger fib that I had in there. We haven't gotten to that TP2 level yet, but this has been a beautiful 80-20 to the upside so far. Nice pullback. Now see if we can continue making moves to the upside. Okay, so that's the larger fib scenario that we have on the 4. Okay. Down on the 1, this is what it looks like. Right. So I'm curious, like I said, on if we make another push to the downside to get us to potentially even 65, 124. But another push to the downside, maybe in a turnover. But on the 1 hour, looking at this, got a nice double bottom here. Okay. And let's see. Nice double bottom there, right? So we run our trend lines to the downside on this. Clean this up a little bit. Whoops. Keep that one. Take that one out. And we'll take that out as well. I'm going to pull the cloud for a second. Just want to run trend lines to the downside to see where we sit. So we're sitting right against that trend line. All right. So are we able to get a nice bullish break of that? Nice bullish break, entry opportunity potentially for a move back long. So we'll watch and see. We'll watch and see how this develops. But overall, looking for this to continue to the upside. Okay. Based off this daily move here. Okay. Questions on the CAD Swiss? Nope. Okay. Cool beans. Look at this pound CAD too, since we got that data coming out. All right, the crown pattern finally finished out to the upside. Boom. I'm sorry, technically a head and shoulders per the pattern. But nice move to the upside. Okay. Fib still in play. We haven't gotten to the D extension yet, but do we get a pullback before the continuation? We got stochastic in the sell zone again here. Okay, so do we get a pullback and then a continuation to the upside? So coming down to the 4, fresh AB boundary, haven't pushed into the 118, 127 zone yet.
That's a gorgeous move, man.
Man, beautiful move to the upside there, dude. Beautiful move to the upside. You got your break, retest, continuation. You had a ton of stuff happening here, right? Breakout of consolidation, right? Break, retest, continuation. You had your head and shoulders pattern. You had all kind of stuff happening here, man. Smaller head and shoulders pattern there. Tons of small technical details on this one. But beautiful move to the upside. Beautiful move. I agree with you. So AB boundary on the 4. On the daily, you got an AB. On the 1, you got an AB boundary as well. So we'll see what happens as we get closer to 8:30. Do we spike up and then push down? Or do we just turn over here and make this retracement? And then really, I'd be looking for a low price on this one to get back long. Right? Break and retest of that level. You in this one long, Beneath? Great work, man. Dropping 7s in the chat for Beneath. Been sitting long in this one for 2 or 3 weeks. I love it. I love it. Riding the price action to the upside. Beautiful. Beautiful. Off that support. Boom. Great work, dude. Great work. Great work. All right. Once you learn the skill, man, once you see it, you can't unsee it. All right. Here's the AB boundary on that reversal. Cloud break. Boom. Hasn't looked back since. Great work, dude. All right. So that's the pound cat. We'll look for that retracement, low price, and then get back long. Okay. And then I want to look at this pound yen real quick. It's just trying to turn over and push back to the upside here. Okay. Didn't even get back down to that 201,648 level yet. But pushing back to the upside. So we come here to the 4. That AB boundary hasn't popped in yet. Not able to break the cloud, right? You see all those wicks, not able to close below the cloud. And now we're pressing back to the upside. So looking for price at least to come back to the highs here at 208, but could potentially press even deeper. So we'll watch that there. Down to the 1. What you waiting on this GJ, Donette? What you looking
Definitely the
for?
high price for it to come back up.
High price to get short?
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. I dig it. That's that intervention. Second intervention, sideways. Trying to start that retracement phase, right? Little flag pattern. See if we get another push to the upside here. Yeah, trying to make that move back to the upside so we can break out of that cloud and continue moving along. Okay, but all of them looking the same. All of them looking the same. All right, so that's the pound yen. Then we'll close out. We'll look at the euro dollar. Sitting at this daily resistance. Got back to the high, right? 109, 165. I'm curious to see what happens here, right? We got potentially more cuts coming out of the ECB. You got potential cuts coming at some time for the Fed. What happens here? All right. So I'm watching this level closely to see how price responds. We got a stochastic in the sell zone. And looking to see what happens fundamentally and what the drivers are to move this in one direction or the other. All right. On the 4, you got your deep retracement sitting at a 786 retracement level in line with daily resistance. Can price hold here and start making this move back down to the downside? Right. So this is how I'm leaning. I need some confirmation fundamentally for this, but this is how I'm leaning on this one. That's my thought. That's my thought. So we'll watch and see. We'll watch the data, right? We got retail sales data today. Potentially could be a catalyst for us, right? Potentially could be a catalyst for us. But if we're able to hold this daily level, right, and we get bearish action, and we'll see if we get that move back down to the downside there. Okay. So that's how I'm watching that one on the 4. You come down to the 1. You pushed up to that 118 level with your wick here, and now we're trying to break down. So we'll also see from a lower time frame perspective if we get a cloud break here, right? We saw on the daily time frame, we got that stochastic in the sell zone, right? And it's trying to turn over. Don't yet have a swing high to confirm that, right? We need today and tomorrow to close bearish. But if we get that, confirm that swing high there on the daily, and we get a cloud break here on the 1, right? That could also be some additional pieces of confirmation for us to play this to the downside. Okay. So that's how I'm watching this euro dollar. Questions? Oh, all right. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
None other than if you guys check your chart, you got a Euro NZD setting up on a 1 hour to a 80-20
Mm-hmm.
play. So yeah, so things drag a bit in the summer, but eventually things come back around. Julie says you just took it, right? Things come back around, right? And things get back in the rhythm, get back in sync, start flowing, right? So this is what we always talk about, just sitting on your hands and waiting on the trades to hit your zones, work out your risk management and just take it from there. And you guys know now, like with any asset class, right? We know how to do the math. We know how to do the math and take it no matter what. It doesn't matter the asset class when it hits those zones, it's universal. So that's it. That's all I have. Great session, man.
Appreciate you, bro. All right, good people. All right. There's your final setup. Won't go through the full deal, but there's your 80-20 on the Euro NZD. I know we're looking at it previously here. We didn't get it. Price continued to run. And I'll see if we get that retracement action to happen. All right. On the 4 hour as well. Let's see. All right. Just an update. Excuse me. Mindset Monday session from yesterday. I will have that posted today. I forgot to hit the record button, so I had to go back and re-record it. But I will have that posted for the replay today for you guys to review And for those that may have missed it that want to check it out, you can do that as well. All right, so that'll be posted today. You guys have a phenomenal Tuesday. Get out there and find your 1% today. We'll talk soon. Peace.